Peak has been out for a while now, and has had many updates. With it, many new glitches came and many were patched. So, let's look at some of the best glitches that still work in 2026. First off, let's look at some of the biggest glitches, which is of course the out of bounds glitch within the airport, which you can do really easily. First, come all the way down here to this Bing Bong Airlines sign. You can go to either side, the right or left side, and it's really simple. First, just climb up and press 1 or the passport button if you're playing on PC, and you'll actually be able to glitch in. This won't be guaranteed, but if you keep trying by climbing and pressing the first button, you'll be able to glitch in and see the Scoutmaster, which is really interesting, and we'll actually be able to go up close to him very soon in a different glitch. Also, you can do some pretty weird things like climb out of bounds, and to get back in bounds, just press the passport button. Now, another area you can do the glitch is over here beside the climbing wall. Basically, you have to do the same method. Basically, you just have to climb up and use the passport button. I find that it's most easily done by looking up a little bit. As you can see, it is a really hard glitch to do, but can be done. Basically, what you're doing in this glitch is you're trying to push your full body outside of the wall, and most of the times that you get stuck, usually that's because only a certain half of your body is out of bounds. You can also try and jump to help, but eventually you can jump out of bounds and be able to explore this really cool area. Also, when you're out of bounds, you can also pick up items from in bounds. As long as you can reach the items by someone giving them to you or just grabbing the chest pieces, you can grab them, but just make sure you don't go too far because you'll be put back in bounds. You can also see the Bing Bong airplane and so many other cool things. You can really explore a lot in this out of bounds area, and you can even go so far out of bounds that you just hit a barrier and you just fall infinitely, which is really interesting. Explore this void glitch. If we head into the fog all the way down here, where you can see some extra airplanes, eventually you'll find the edge of the map, where it will be very evident as you're just basically going to start falling. As you can see here, everything is starting to look farther away because of course you're falling. Some pretty interesting things happen eventually. Like, you just basically can't see the area anymore. Like this, as you can see, we can't even see the airport. And some other pretty interesting things happen, and you basically just fall forever, which is pretty interesting. So, let's go back to the airport. As you can see, if you follow this path that I'm taking, you'll actually be able to see some pretty cool things, including some unused areas of the airport and some unused assets like lighting and some other cool things. And if you follow this path, you can actually make it all the way back to where we saw the Scoutmaster and actually go up to him. However, he has no collision and there's honestly no real reason why he's out here. So what's your best theory about why he's here? If you want to escape from this area, you can just go over here to where there would be a gateway and just get back in bounds. You can also do this glitch at the photo shoot area, but some weird things happen and it's quite hard to basically unstuck yourself. As you can see, you can try and get into this airspace over here, which it will be quite crazy, and you can even try and get on top of it. But like I said, it's pretty hard to get out of here. Also, if you go over here specifically where the chair is, you can get into this weird area and actually even hit the photo booth button. And you'll get some pretty interesting pictures since you're stuck in the ceiling. So I even had to leave the game because I literally had no way to get out of here. So another cool thing that you can see is in the elevator, you can actually see some unused assets like chairs or just another pathway to an unused area of the airport. Moving on, let's go to the actual mountain. This next glitch is very popular and actually had some changes a while ago, but it still works. This glitch is of course the scout cannon glitch. To do this glitch, make sure you have a scout cannon in any area, and make sure you have a backpack. This backpack you probably won't find again, so you have to be willing to lose it. First, put the backpack inside the scout cannon, then light the fuse, and basically just jump in, and you'll fly super far away. However, the only problem with this is you'll take fall damage, of course. A great way to remove this fall damage is to time it perfectly with a kit or bandages. As you can see, you might take some fall damage after, but if you time it correctly, you can heal yourself and just skip a big portion of a level. As you can see, there's some levels that it's quite hard to do it with, like the tropics. As you can see, because there's so many cliffs, you might be able to heal yourself, but you might just die after, like I did. And one of my favorite areas to use it is the mesa because of how hard this level is, with the ravine and with the sun causing you heat. But also some weird things will happen when you're trying to do this, because, for example, your hand might get stuck inside and you won't be able to light the fuse. Now, probably one of the weirdest things that can happen is in the caldera. If you do this glitch, of course, and you have the golden bing bong idol, basically you can take no fall damage if you have it. But if you do actually land on the side of the volcano, which you usually will, you can actually just hold it and you'll just fall down the volcano. Eventually you'll hit an invisible platform which you can actually walk off, and some pretty weird things happen because you're technically not supposed to be out here. As you can see, you can walk off this invisible platform and basically just make sure you're holding the idol because you probably will die. As you can see, we are falling off the map and it's pretty crazy to see this. So as you can see, everything is really bright and we're basically just falling completely behind the volcano. And like I said, make sure you keep holding it because you will die. So this is how it looks when someone else does the scout cannon glitch. It's pretty crazy. Now, moving on to some small glitches that I really like. First, there's the piton glitch, which if you go to a very tiny tree in the tropics, you can put a piton on it and use a play dead emote. Which if you do it correctly, which I wasn't too good at this, you can actually spin yourself really far around and it can get so insane that you just spin super fast, which is not good if you get dizzy easily. The next glitch, which I really like, is with the cactus. As you can see, if you throw the cactus, which is the only way to get rid of the cactus, you can spam the E button or whatever your pickup button is and actually fly with it wherever you throw it. As you can see, throwing it, sometimes it won't happen exactly, but if you shoot it at the right angle and press E at the right time, you can just fly around with it, which is a really cool glitch. This next one may not be considered a glitch, but it's with the flying disc. So if it's not a glitch, here's a cool trick you can do. With the flying disc, of course, you can throw it a far distance, but if you jump and look up quickly, you can send it super far in the sky, which is a really cool thing that you can do. And like I said, this may not be a glitch, but an actual feature. With this next glitch, you can remove any amount of fall damage no matter where you're falling from. So for this glitch, we'll use an example of using the scout cannon, which these two glitches can be used together to make some pretty crazy things. As you can see, I'm falling now, and if you just do the play dead emote and make sure you have another item in your inventory, you can just keep spamming that item and make sure you're using the play dead emote and just take no damage. Basically, it thinks you're falling from a very short distance because you're doing that emote, which is really cool. And like I said, you compare both of these glitches, the scout cannon glitch and this one, to get some pretty far distances. Those are some of the best glitches that are currently working in Peak. Which one is your favorite? Let us know and make sure to subscribe.